B takes c4, black resigns? What the... B takes c4, black resigns. I'm having a little bit of trouble with this one. So you resigned in a drawn position? Like, I don't think white's winning. It's not a win. Is it? Is it a win? Is d5 a win? No. Dude, this is a draw. He resigned in a drawn position. Okay. Interesting. Alright, next game. We've got Richard Smith versus Steve Blake. We have to go a little faster through these games. Richard Smith. The Portuguese Gambit. Boris Johnson's favorite opening. French Gambit. Alright, Bishop G4, F3. Now, Bishop C8 is theoretically possible. This is main line. But kudos to Rich for trying to play the critical test. Most people chicken out with Bishop E2. No, Richard's playing white. Richard's playing white. I don't think he's invested in Smurfo's book. No, he's not crazy. I played the Scandinavian, but I wasn't crazy enough to play this stuff for black. Probably you should, though. I was just never comfortable, like, trying to learn all this craziness. So I wonder about Bishop E5 check. That's another important line. Anyway, I don't know which is better. E6 takes, Knight C6. This seems to be main line. I've played many games against Arsenal. I don't remember if I ever tried the Portuguese Gambit, but I don't know it very well. So now black plays Knight B4. This I refer to as the face hugger. By the way, a quick note for everybody watching. I want to try to make some interesting videos for my YouTube channel. And one idea I have is to do kind of funny chess concepts. So I was going to do videos on the face hugger, 3 AM defense, the elf on a shelf, the amputated octopus. So if anyone has any other funny references that I've made on the stream that they can recall, that could be turned into video ideas, try to mention it to me. Secrets. Move 11, are you out there? Secret Santa? Mr. Coffee, you would know as well as anyone if I've ever done anything funny. Troll on a Roll is here. I actually mentioned you today. Can you believe it? Not on the stream, but to one of our regulars. Troll on a Roll. I brought you to the stream by bringing your name into a conversation. I said, boy, we haven't seen Troll in a while. We're going over one of Asturbate's games, and I said, oh, the Troll hasn't been around for a while. Because I mentioned Chess 960, and of course that made me think of you. We haven't played anybody in Chess 960 in a long time, so welcome back. Rollin' and trollin' with a troll and a roll. Bishop E3, Knight B4. So this looks wrong. The pawn smile. Okay, it's a suggestion. Not as good as the face hugger. It's kind of mild in comparison. The car. Yeah, I mean, development is priority. I don't consider this a developing move. Actually, this is a face hugger. This is a concrete face hugger. That is a face hugger. I have to play Knight A3 now, and you can't get rid of the face hugger. So this is a perfect example of a face hugger. Maybe I'll use it in my facehugger video. But there are some interesting ways of dealing with facehuggers. Like, sometimes you can sack your rook, basically. The facehugger is defended on c2 by the bishop usually, right? Connected here. So if you can, that's like the so if that's the facehugger, that's the what do you call it? The alien mother. The queen. The queen on f5. It's actually a bishop. Doesn't work. The alien queen. Nah, it doesn't really work. But if you can undermine that bishop on f5, like you can do theoretically like g4. Okay, the argument would be like g4, check. I don't know, king f2, knight takes a1, takes, and your knight on a1 is trapped. This is what I'm trying to get to. Basically, if you undermine the queen, you know, you burn the queen with flamethrowers. Little alien reference. You can basically destroy the facehugger in the process. But I don't think in a Portuguese variation we're fast enough. White's too far behind in development to do crazy stuff like g4. This probably isn't going to be the safest move. You know, something bad's going to happen to white if you do g4. Knight c2 check. Okay, computer points out that e2 is actually better than f2. Very interesting. By the way, knight a1 is a mistake. And white is winning after g takes f5. So that's not a joke. g4. Mr. Arsenal didn't find it. Check. King e2. Oddly enough, the computer is like king d2. Get out of here. That's crazy. Are you even kidding me? King d2. The idea being that if knight d4, you're just like taking this. Are you serious? Of course I would play king d2 in a heartbeat. My first inclination was f2. Then I was like, okay, e2. But it's hard to talk me into d2. That's the best move. That's completely safe. Nothing can possibly go wrong in this position for white, right? No, bishop g6. He just holds the knight. Now we have to go h4. See, that's why I like e2 better. Now if bishop g6, we can play h4 with the idea of knight takes c2, h5. Is that crazy enough for you guys? Alright, we're having too much fun. Anyway. So, he goes for the facehugger. It's not the best developing move. So it looks like queen e7 is classic move, right? We're going to castle queenside and just go crazy. But the other idea is get the bishop out first and then queen e7. Okay, check here, queen e7. And now black would preferably castle queenside. This was a long game, yeah. But instead black played knight b4. Okay, knight a3, like lazy move. No, seriously, this is a normal move, I guess. So you got two good players. Wow, Hundyuk goes back to 97. He's almost as old as me. My old friend Andrei Kovalev and Vladimir Volozhin, Hungarian, Ukrainian. Not a lot of games here. Yeah, that's illogical. You know, I mean, you sack a pawn with e6 and then take it back with the bishop. Black either keeps sacking stuff or takes with the f pawn. I think at this point, because when you take with the bishop, I mean, you're undeveloping and you're leaving white with a very powerful central pawn with no e-pawn. I mean, I think here, this pawn does an important function. I mean, it stops white from having total control of d5 if he pushes. For me, fe is more logical than bishop takes. But it looks like queen e7 also is a vital move. Queen e7 develops, and this is like more dynamic than taking the bishop. This is weaker. So now, yeah, I mean, knight c2, he tries to eliminate the facehugger because the mothership left its position on f5. We're gonna like burn that out, man. Knight c2. Take that. Bishop f5 takes. And then we'll just... Yeah, Arsenal has no problems with king f2. Every English chess player has like Trompowsky, Julian Hodgson sort of in their DNA. Putting the king on f2 is completely normal. It's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. Castle kingside. So black is basically down a pawn for a very, very minor inconvenience of this king on f2. It's the pork chop. No, I mean there's some compensation. I don't like the bishop on b4. Trading pieces is good. This is good. Now knight e2. All right, watch this file. c6 is like passive. I mean, you're not playing the Caro-Kann, man. You're playing the Portuguese gambit. You know, I mean, c6... I'm not saying c5 is a good move. I mean, you're going to allow d5, but I don't see the need for c6. I would be concerned here. I guess he wants to have the bishop retreat back to it. All right, maybe there's that. Arsenal played very well. Knight c3 is reasonable. I was expecting a3. Yeah, d4 h6. Right. Fundamental. Get it going. So why not king g1? Is it safer to play king g1? I mean, eventually you can play this and try to play the Aster mate, but it's possible that it's safer to play king g1. Every pawn move is a weakening of your position. When you play g3, you give him an out, you know, to try to hunt you down with h5, h4. This becomes a possibility. But it seems like black's kind of conservative. Queen d7, obviously hitting here. He's going to go king g2. Yeah. Interesting move, but you're not going to get to h6. He's just going to double. We should say triple. And then Arsenal played a weird move. This is really, really awkward. Rook e5. Looks like he's trying to take away bishop a5 and play a3 and force him to trade. He didn't do it, though. Wow. Yeah, I thought we were just going to see this. Simply take, and we're just up a pawn in a theoretically winning position. But he goes with knight e4 instead. It looks like Arsenal's trying to win a piece. He's threatening that, and this bishop was trapped for a moment. But now white has to defend the threat. Queen h3, mate. Nearly mate. Doesn't want to trade queens. And then c5. But it looks like Arsenal's got a little discoordinated and or uncoordinated, and we basically these pieces are a little weirdly placed. That I'm not sure about. But what do you want black to do here? He has a problem with no place to go with his queen. Yeah, he's afraid of d5 as well. So he goes to c8. And white eventually plays d5. This is close to oof. We're getting close to oofville. Rook e6, yeah, it looks bad for black. He's clear pawn down. Clear pawn down with a worse structure. Black didn't play with the energy you need to play the Portuguese gambit. You know, I don't like Arsenal putting all of his pawns on dark squares. I mean, there's potential for this to be a draw. I mean, honestly, what happens after queen d5? You have every single pawn with white on the wrong color. Every single pawn. He could trade and play f5. That probably wins, right? Take f5. So black doesn't want to trade queens, but Arsenal's literally put all of his pawns on the wrong color. And he's like kind of overextended himself. Like, for example, is this a win for white if queen c6? It's a win for white, apparently. Obviously, king f3. It's not that easy, is it? I mean, like, take. Bishop c7. Oh, yeah, white's up a pawn. Oh, man, I'm sorry, guys. I forgot he was up a pawn. I totally forgot he was up a pawn. I thought it was, like, equal material. Damn. Yeah, he's up a pawn on the queen side. But now he's wide open. Not ideal for a queen ending. This is a really tough position. Wow. It looks like he screwed up. I mean, black screwed up. King's too active there. He can't let him in. So now, this is strong, huh? Queen d6 is going to win material. If you take on h2. But I mean, there has to be a... we have to try this. This is a critical line. You might have perpetual check. Here, king f7, check, king somewhere. We have a mate. We almost have mate. We have mate threats. Damn, dude. Black had to try queen takes h2. Anyway. He had to try it. He didn't realize how bad this was. And now he's just like lost. The h pawn's super fast. Yeah. It's over. King g7. He should play king g7. Now it's just clear run. Lugi once quoted a GM who, in my opinion, white is up a pawn. I mean, there are bishop endgames where you're up a pawn. But that particular example was just too easy, that queenside majority. I didn't realize he was up pawn on the queen side, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It looked too straightforward. But don't assume like all bishop endings are winning because you're up a pawn. You know, all same color bishop endings. It's not like knight endings where they're always decisive. I've saved a lot of bishop endings where I'm down a pawn because all my opponent's pawns are on the wrong color. Like, the potential's there for that to go wrong. Alright, last games, Percy Hepworth, no, ST and move 11. Alright, we'll save move 11 for last. ST, we gotta go quickly on these last late, oh! You submitted a London. I think, yeah, a late submission of the London. At least you didn't play the London. Action has to be taken. I think action has to be taken. This is the worst ever. I did a game, I played a game like 15 years ago against a friend of mine who played this. You know what I played here? Just to troll him? Like, seriously, d6. Bishop f4, d6. I don't know if the game's in there. That's how much respect I have for the London, you know, honestly. You just play like d6, e6. Do whatever you want, man. I mean, this bishop on f4 it's not really properly placed against that pawn chain. You're playing the boldler on the other side of the board, you know. I got me a King's Indian. It's like we could do this too. e4, the Peerts. If you play bishop c4 against the Peerts, I'll just play this. How bad can it be? You know? Seriously. How bad can it be? I'm going to deny that bishop. Alright, anyway. We're going to quickly go through these last two. Bishop f4, d5. Yeah, okay, you're playing like standard line. Knight f6. I'm not saying that e66 is good, but it messed my opponent's mind. This is a very bad move. Very bad. Of course, white's setup is relatively passive, but, you know, you don't want to block your c-pawn in general. This is a move. c5 is the standard move, but everybody knows those. And then I'm running out of other suggestions. I mean, theoretically, you can play a6, b6. It looks a little early. I mean, I think knight d2's main move here. Nothing wrong with knight f3 as well. Okay, this seems wrong. But one problem with the London players is that they can't think outside the box. Maybe white should consider playing c4, but I guess it's not so good with his knight on d2. This just isn't dangerous, you know? This just isn't dangerous without the knight on c3 controlling the center. I mean, it still might be better than c3. Here he's playing c3. The knight actually really bad, though. I mean, your knight doesn't have any squares. So you should play, like, bishop d6. This is funny, though. You played knight e7. Interesting. This is interesting. Okay? So show me what you've got. This is, I like this. You know, this is the Mexican, the Raul. My friend Raul. He used to always do this every game with both colors. He would always do this. He's from Mexico. So it's his version of the Mexican defense. He always goes two knights out and then knight e7, knight g6, or knight g3. That's kind of funny. Interesting. Interesting. Creative, even. Okay, now you messed up. Having said A, you have to say B, I think, in this position. You have to play knight h5 and go for it. This is the point of the whole maneuver, is that you eliminate this guy's dark-squared bishop. Maybe I'll even play this, just for fun. You don't have to take it right away, you know. I mean, objectively, he can play bishop e5, which is somewhat dangerous. But even there, like, knight takes, pawn takes, g6, and your knight has a fallback square on g7. You can fianchetto your knight, no problem. I play this position all day. It's not that bad, probably. And I guess if you're not going to play knight h5, you have to try to play for e5. But the problem is this, see, he could sit his knight on e5. I'm not crazy about this. You know, I think you have an obligation to play knight h5 here to the chess community. It's just too good a move. You don't have to rush with knight takes g3. All right. Now you did it, thankfully. Very good. And then he plays bishop takes g6, of course, not a good exchange. And the computer hammered you on f6, huh? That's pretty mean. It's Scott Trompowski stuff. King's Crusher rating with 63. King's Crusher. Thank you, King's Crusher, people. Thank you, Crushers. Welcome to the Crushers. Welcome to the Crushers. Crushers in the house. Thank you for the raid. We're analyzing a very interesting variation against the London system. The Raul defense. Black's knight rolled over from c6 to e7 to g6 to f6 to h5, whatever. These knights rolled over and tried to trap the London bishop on g3. And now what should black do? So f6 is very tempting, a key consideration here. But g5 is interesting. The problem is this sort of Trompowski-esque thing like g4. So I guess it's going to be f6, g4. And then pawn takes e5, pawn takes h5. And you're in trouble. You're in big trouble. Because you've got a closed position with two bishops that aren't doing anything. Good evening, friend. Cheesemate gifted tier 1 sub to King Crusher. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Cooking Rooks, hello. Look at this position. It's a closed position, but black's bishops are struggling to do anything. And then the e5 square is a catastrophe. This is going to be bad news. White's going to have a monster knight on e5. I think this is really, really bad for black. Computer doesn't agree. Wow, e4, knight e5. The engine thinks that black's fully okay. You got to make this bishop appear somehow, you know. Get it out to a6. It looks... I'm very surprised by this evaluation. Looks really rickety for black. I am surprised. Computer actually likes black here. With a big fat weakness on g6. Bishop that's completely blocked in. I mean, maybe you can say the engine says black is better, but I think in a practical game, white is better here. 100%. So I don't want that to happen. What about g5? You know, you've got to deal with g4 again. So I don't know what to play here. I don't know. f5 or something crazy? That can't be good. Knight back to f6 simply, like the boring move. Sometimes, like, the boring move is the better move. Sadly. You can't always play exciting tactics. Thanks to the King Crushers. And thanks to Cheesemate for donating a gift sub to King Crusher. So I don't know, you know, what will the engine suggest here? g5? Seriously? Computer comes up with just quiet moves. Knight f6, a5. It's actually liking f6. Weird. I mean, my CPU is not that fast, so it doesn't evaluate that well, but there's some crazy stuff going on here. g4 or h4? h4. This is a very deep idea. The idea is like you take, and then the knight is trapped anyway. That's pretty cool. Cooking Rooks is gifting 20 tier 1 subs to the community. We'll get some new friends from the King Crusher community. Guys, check out King Crusher. He's one of the legendary streamers who really started this whole chess streaming trend. Of course, his YouTube channel is one of the best and most well-known for many years. Cooking Rooks, 20 gift subs for the community. Thank you, man. Oh, man, very generous. So shout out to Cooking Rooks, matching Fortuna Chess Coach earlier this week with 20 gift subs. That's a cool idea, but I wouldn't have found that over the board, honestly. Alright, let's see what happens. So he played f6. White missed g4. You got your bishops and your chicks for free. The problem is it's a closed position, but I like that your structure is still good. You can play g5 here, but you have to watch this. e4 is a danger. You know, Rubinstein played the London. I make fun of the London a lot. I don't like the London because it's like trendy and overrated. And it makes people mindless zombies. I've played the London in like 3 or 4 tournament games with white, but I still think like the trend turns people into mindless zombies. Rubinstein was one of the greatest players of all time. He played the London. The break here with e4 is dangerous for black, so we have to keep that in mind. But I don't necessarily know if we want to take here right away or keep the tension. The point is he can't take with the h pawn. You know, this isn't that bad for black or anything. Black is probably slightly better, or at least equal, in this position. I should always also comment that 2 knights is a better pair to play against the 2 bishops in most cases than like bishop and knight. Aim to keep the position locked. But I mean, always keep the tension when you have this kind of potential exchange, if it's possible. More tension means more mistakes the opponent can make. Knight takes g3 right away. Okay. It's still fine. So g5. This is very risky. I think you have to decide where you want to put your king here. And you might want to put pressure on the center. I mean, for me, like c5 is a logical move. We want to try to put pressure on the enemy center. You can guard a g6 with like king f7. So what's up with g5? I'm not sure this does that much. And you're not developing your pieces. And now rook h6. Okay, okay. I like rook h6. Castle's queenside. Typical modern London follower. But black's starting to look like he might be in trouble. I mean, your king is in the middle of the board. White's going to open it with e4. And, you know, I like castle's queenside for white there. He could castle kingside. But this looks like valid. Queen d6. You're getting hammered by e4, man. White doesn't seem to want to play this move. But it does look promising for white, I would say. Feels like white has to be better. He's opening up the center. Maybe like g4 first or something. Maybe he wants to try to prevent you from playing g4, for example. Or h3. h3 is no good. So you stopped h3 by playing queen d6. Guys, I have to go soon, so I'm going to go a little bit faster here. Queen a6 now. I don't like that black's not really developing the other pieces. These pieces are at home. Quick analysis. Cooking rooks. Great holiday season. I hope so too. Guys, I've got to play Sunday in my team, so wish me good luck. It's my birthday. We're going to have a Sunday birthday simul. We're also going to be back. We're going to be back Friday with some blitz tomorrow morning. Again, big thanks to King Crusher for the raid and Cooking Rooks for 20 gift subs. But anyway, Sunday is birthday. We're back tomorrow with blitz. I'm going to finish these last two games up. So we got Queen b3, Bishop d7. Finally, we're getting out of here. Please. Provocative, forcing some weaknesses. I expected b3. Fisher random. Fisher random on my birthday. I wonder if you should play Bishop b5 instead. That's kind of awkward for white to me. Like, what's he going to do? Knight b3, and then you go here. You're going to castle very quickly. I don't know. I mean, white has e4, and he still might be better. But it's a crazy position. Very unclear. I think you should get the safety. You did. And now f5. Schieberspieler is even here. Wow. King Crusher raids, and then Schieberspieler shows up. We haven't seen in ages. h4. Crazy move. Then g4. So you don't want to take that pawn. Don't look a gift pawn in the mouth. It's a famous saying. If my dad had played chess, he would have said that or something. A lot of people assume because their opponents like sacrifice pawns that it's bad to take them, but you should have respect for your opponents. I don't really get it though. Like what's the deal with this? Like, I don't understand it. Everything's protected, and you're basically like winning a pawn. I don't see how he can justify sacking that pawn. I just don't see it. So you just played g4. I mean, g3 is weak and black is better anyway. I admit, it's true. And this looks gone. You know, g3 is gone now. Bishop d6. You're just winning the g3 pawn. Maybe white can try like c4 or something. This is a very strange move, rook f8. I mean, I just don't see what white's going to do after this. Oh, you have bishop b5. You have winning the exchange. Wow. You're actually threatening bishop d3, so rook f1 is a double blunder. They gave it a dubious. This move is worse than dubious. after rook f1, you have bishop e5, and you're threatening both crushing material wins with bishop d3 and bishop f1. This is the analysis, you know, already in there. But rook f8, I don't understand your point. Like, what are you doing with rook f8? Yeah, bishop d6. I don't think bishop d6 is dubious, honestly. It's not a bad move. Here, and you just took the pawn. Okay, the computer is kind of harsh. You're winning. You're winning. You're up a pawn. You're up 2 pawns in an ending with 2 bishops versus 2 knights. Now he gets an ounce of counterplay. Move 11, an ounce of counterplay is worth a pound of detention. So you have queen d3 check, followed by pawn takes e4. Queen d3 check, pawn takes e4. And this is protected. This is projected to be protected. You could have probably refuted his tactic there. I mean, he can play queen c2, right? It's kind of funny. Then you take this, and then he takes this. Am I seeing things? Is this right? That's pretty funny. It actually works. Knight takes e4. But anyway, whatever. You're like up a million pawns in an ending. I mean, just White's like lost here. White's got to be lost here. I mean, you just take another pawn. This is horrible for White. Another great London system. So you took, he has that. Then you took, so the bishop's kind of awkward. You're up 2 pawns, but the position is awkward. You're a little bit uncoordinated. Giving up your bishop. I love bishops. I'll tell you why I don't like this, alright? That bishop is pretty good. It has a lot of mobility. You know, it can come back to c6, for example. But his knight sucks. You know, this knight is the knight literally sucks. I mean, the best thing this knight can do is, like, sacrifice its life for some sort of crazy attack. It's in a very bad position. It can't go to c5 or a5 without, you know, so I think you're trading for a bad knight, basically. A pretty good bishop for a bad knight. Take, take, and then he mouse slipped. That's got to be a mouse slip. Bishop d1, rook d1, b5. That's not a good move, by the way. I guess you're up a rook, so you can do what you want, but I wouldn't give him the c5 square for his knight. You have this. Queen d6. This is good enough. I think c6 is safer. You don't want to get mated, but I don't know how you would even get in there. It's over. Alright guys, last game. Last game from Move 11. Serious game now from one of our VIPs. This was a training over the board. Well, not over the board, but it was a training game against a strong title player. Move 11. Last game for today. We've got learn, study. We love chess here, just like King Crusher. Pretty serious. Alright, studies I contribute to. I've got a lot of studies. Maybe I lead chess and studies. Study, study, study. Analysis chess stream December 16th. So last game, Move 11, thanks for being a VIP. Move 11 versus International Master Baggio. Baggio from Hungary. It's a football reference, I guess. So, Mate playing black. So you agreed to play up to move 6. He forced Baggio, who's actually, I think, kind of a attacking player. He's universal, but he's an attacker. He forced him to play the Berlin defense. Thanks, Mickey. Bishop c5, bishop takes c6, dc, castles. Move 11's playing white. And move 6, castles. So now it's black to play on his own. Guys, I gotta go in like 10 minutes. Birthday simul stream this Sunday. I've got to play for my team on my birthday. Oh joy. Cheaterspieler, are you playing on Sunday? Matching ratings. Wow. 2169 would be better. 2168. Baggio is a little underrated. He doesn't play a lot of classical chess. His FIDE rating is like probably 2460. Alright. Queen e7. Now knight on bd2. So it's a boring line. I mean, to be honest, I'm going to be like perfectly honest with you, Move 11. I don't think this system like really suits your style. But again, like, what are you going to do? It's the Berlin defense. Like, how do you get a sharp tactical game against the Berlin defense? Your 5th black and 6th game against higher rated opponent. Nice. It sounds like my Hungarian or my Budapest chess team where they make me play black every round. Alright. So knight on bd2, bishop g4. Black develops the pieces actively. h3. So the bishop now gets like committed off sides. He's committed to the institution. But keep in mind, black hasn't castled. He's a very aggressive player. I'm expecting to see like g5 very soon here. So what are black's options? You see, the problem is the pressure on e5. Here, he just doesn't have a good square for his bishop other than g4. That's the problem. There is no other good square. Like, where are you going to put it? The other option is castle, and if knight c4, you go knight d7, I guess. But I don't think this appeals to Baggio, who's kind of an aggressive player. Very strong player, 2460 I am, playing black. So, he wants to play aggressively. The thing is, he can probably go crazy with some sort of pawn rush. I'm not sure if he should play h3 or not. You know, there's also... is it possible for black to do the fishing pole here? I mean, have we looked at this? Is this unsound? You've always got to watch out for potential fishing poles. It looks like a bad exchange variation, though. Like, take. This is very serious. But white doesn't have to take it, you know? That does look bad for white. But do you really have to take it? I don't want to take it. So knight c4. Threatening knight on c takes e5. You know, now maybe we are threatening to take it, and other good stuff like knight e3. I think this is the problem. You know, what is black going to do now? Now we are threatening to take it, and you're basically screwed. Now what do you do? Like knight d7? And if I take it now, it's a different story. You got the take knight g5, and I don't know what's going on. Yeah, okay. I don't think h5 is a move. So h3. But the other question is, move 11, should you play h3? You know, you could play a lot of different moves here. Like, you can play queen e1. You could play knight c4. Anand Carlsen. 0-1. Damn, dude, white does not have a good score here. Look at that. So h3, white just doesn't have a good score at all. I mean, what did we do wrong? We must have done something wrong very quickly. So you agreed up till castles, but why are you castling? Isn't it like here? I think this is weird. The act of castling. Is this some kind of Topalov Kramnik game? Is my memory still working? Topalov Bakro. There is Topalov Bakro. I don't know. It just looked like Topalov move, queen e2. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think you ought to play knight on BD2. This looks way, way more solid. Castling looks dangerous, and the statistics are horrible here for white. Look at the statistics here. It's not good. What's the overall? White's barely got a plus score. I guess it's better than losing. Alright, H3. Well, I would give it some thought. You know, just don't take one guy's word for it. You should really look at the statistics yourself and consider both options. Castling's very committal. Bishop H5, Knight C4. One game with Castle's queenside. Mamedyarov hasn't released the G5 series yet. Well, that's a concession to some degree, at least. I'm just waiting for... Yeah, he has to defend his E5 pawn. Just looks like Kramnik will come up with some kind of insane G5. Kramnik, Aronian, or... What was it? Aronian Kramnik? Where he did that crazy G5 move? What opening was that? Was that a Berlin defense? There was some kind of insane game where Kramnik beat Aronian with like G5 prepared. Opening the G file, remember? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? That's crazy, right? I've had too much wine to drink. It's only minus 2 point... It was a Joko piano, okay. It's only 2 point something. You could always go Castle's queenside. Well, we can't... Yeah, can we? That's the problem. I mean, this... Wow, this was played in a game. So it's this, here, here, this, and this. Are we serious? We're serious. This is an actual thing. Wow. That's pretty cool. You could always go Castle's queenside. Wow. So actually, this is interesting. Castle's queenside, and there's only one game. That is an interesting idea, Uber Driver. Literally only one game played here. Thanks, Sheeber. Sheeber knows all. 7 Rook G8. He's like a human computer. He's like a living database. He has PGNs memorized. Wow, White's best move is Bishop D2. I would never have found that. Knight takes E5, Knight takes E4. Well, that's pretty obvious. Yeah. So I like this Castle's queenside. I think Baggio would do well with that. He played the main line. Now Bishop D2 is main line. I mean, obviously there's like B4 ideas. It looks like lots of draws. But move 11 played Bishop E3 instead. Ginda from 1990. Legendary Romanian Grandmaster. Well, not legendary, but he was well known. I never met him. Too old for me. Bishop E3. Yeah, so it looks like you're supposed to like play for B4. Wonder if you could sack a pawn. Like a wing gambit. It's just unsound. Yeah, I'm just unsound. Alright, anyway, guys, we'll take a look. F6. And then move 11 played C3, which is a new move. Yeah, you've got a crumbly white square complex. Without a white square bishop, it's always risky to play C3. You'll have like a crumble cake. Obviously, there's a danger of D3 collapsing in the long run. I mean, black just has an unopposed white square bishop. So it's safest not to play C3. You are the first one to take this risk. And he plays Rook D8. Not messing around with Castle's queenside. I mean, c3 obviously promotes b4 as well, but it's double-edged on the d file, so he immediately goes for rook d8, here, here, here. Now, what about knight takes? Less pawn moves is safer. Which is better? I don't know where my knight's going. If it gets attacked, it's going to a5. Stockfish confirms that knight e3 is better. This knight feels kind of weird on c4. I mean, I understand like this. I get that. Ding Liren gets that. But, no, I mean, I think this is safer. Wow, he had his mind on knight a5. So maybe he should seriously play b6. I think he couldn't believe you're actually going to go out there on the limb. The perch, the knight perch. Rook b8, that's awkward. See, he didn't want to have that happen. He didn't believe move 11 would do that, and he really did. Black should have played b6. Just one little prophylactic move. And now everything's okay. You're not going to put that knight on a5, man, against me. Is this best move? Probably. Wow. Wow, Stockfish has a surprise for you. f5, master. Did you see that coming? Now, Schieberspieler would play that every time. Right, Schieberspieler? He would never miss f5. Dude. Not too many people are going to find this. That's crazy. Your king is uncastled. f5's not protected. And you're just like going f5. What the... What the what? That is crazy. Takes and e4. That's kind of a threat. So I guess we have to take it. I'm not a big fan of like g4 here. Wow. This is insane. That's insane. It's weird to play f5 after you just played f6, right? So he allowed knight a5. Now that's awkward. He doesn't want his rook there. I don't want my queen on a3. Can we put it somewhere in the middle of the board? This is like, who's going to place their pieces more awkwardly? Well, if you have a rook on b8, I want to put my queen on a3, alright? I'll one-up you with the weirdest position of the pieces. So he manages to play b6 to take away this knight squares. Move 11. Unable to eat the pawn. Your queen probably gets trapped on queen a6. You know, it seemed like he kind of forced black to play rather awkward position, but Baggio adapted. c5 is pretty nice. In between move. I was expecting knight takes c5. Black is certainly doing well here, right? What's the evaluation? It's just better for black. Is this a mistake? He gets fancy? I mean, knight takes c5, right, Schieber? This is a good move. a4 getting fancy. Now you've got a pawn locked on white squares. It's probably not bad. But I would rather have my pawns on dark squares. See, he's got a square. Look at that. He gave him a square for the queen. Now f6 is weak. Damn, do you have d4 there? No, because of knight e4. Your knight on c1 is not happy. This is very awkward. Just when I thought you were going to the d file, f6 is weak. This was an interesting game. So take, 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 take. It looks like black is just better structurally. You swindled? You got f6. He must have been thinking he's winning, right? Why doesn't he have rook takes e1? I don't get it. Oh, because he can't take an f6. Well, maybe he had a hallucination. Maybe not. This is a fun game, man. This is a good game. Now he does have rook takes e1. You take on e6, he takes, you take, and it's a draw. That's the end of that. Maybe Schieber could beat you. But it looks like rook d5's. I'm a little scared about Schieber with black in this position. Reminds me of a game he played in the tournaments one week against somebody. He missed c6 after rook takes e5. c6 here. Oof. That's called the zipper. The rook has no squares. That's so sick. But I mean, you've obviously got rook g5 exclam saving the game. It's like Morales versus Schieberspieler. No, you'll save the game here with perfect computer-like defense. Just have to play like perfect computer-like defense. No problem. Easy. Easy peasy. It's the zipper. And it's just slightly better for black, but not enough to win. No, that was a cool game. Alright, good game. Alright guys, it's late. It's 10 o'clock. I overextended my welcome. Action will be taken about this tomorrow. The zipper is a new concept for ideas. Thanks everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to be back on Friday with 11 o'clock CET Blitz. Thanks for watching. Thanks to King Crusher. And thanks to Cooking Rooks. And thanks to Mr. Coffee, of course. As always. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you Friday morning and Sunday for my birthday simul. Bye-bye.